Hi, in today's episode of PDS on the Rocks, we're going to be talking about the different roadblocks that dealers are facing with today's modern customer.
Hey, can you say that 3 times fast?
Man, it took me 3 times just to say it 1 time slow. Hi, and welcome to another edition of PDS on the Rocks. I'm Barrett Schrader, and with me, as usual, is our Director of Trading, Matt Lowry. And as we mentioned today, we want to cover just some of the different roadblocks that dealers are facing with today's, digital buyer. What are some of the pain points? What are the things that we need to be thinking about as an organization to be prepared for this type of a buyer?
Sure.
So
it's a bit of a transition.
It's a culture change.
It is. It really
So
is.
I think one of the first things we need to look at is what's our structure today and what do we need to look at to change? Do I need a BDC? Do I need specialists? I've always used my salespeople to drive the floors activity. What are the different things that we need to be looking at when it comes to a defined process to handle this type of a buyer?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's dive right in.
Let's get to it.
Right into structure. How should we be structured as a dealership?
And it's important to understand that when you're looking at getting into digital retailing, you don't have to go all in. You don't have to say,
Good point.
okay,
Very good point.
We're doing this now. There's still the traditional road to the sale. And today's customer, most of them still want to go down that. It's about providing options. And those customers that do want to go down the digital path and more of a, we call it modern selling. It's funny, we call it digital retailing. I was talking to one of our manufacturing partners, and they're changing their term to modern retailing, because to them it's not digital. Everything's digital. Everyone's online. Everyone's doing that. It's
Right.
just today's modern customer. So understanding and giving the customers the choice of which way they want to go. But if you're going to go down this path, you have to change your processes up. We can't just get them in the door and then send them through the normal traditional road to the sale that we've always done. We have to set up processes to allow that customer to continue that experience and have more of a say-so. And it's not about giving the customer all of the power, it's just giving them more options.
Right. Good point. Now, what if I'm a dealer that I've been structured in such a way for years now? I've got a great infrastructure when it comes to having a business development culture.
Sure.
Is this possibly the death of that department that I've spent so much time and resources on?
Sure. Well, since we're the BDC experts, I sure don't want to say it's the death of BDC, right?
Right.
And it's not. But here's the whole thing: is understanding the role that a BDC can play with this new way of retailing. So what have we always done in BDC is just get them in, just create and drive traffic, right? The big sale and promotion we have going on right now. Best deal comes from our sales manager. When can you come and meet with him? That's what we've done. The idea, and where a BDC is still useful, is we still have to help the customer, help that guest out in taking the next step and motivating them. Just instead of motivating them to simply get in, it's motivating them to take that next step and showing them the value in doing that and the value in purchasing a car this way. So BDC is far from dead. The role just is going to shift some. And the whole idea is traditional selling isn't dead either. You're going to have your customers that are still going down that traditional path. It's giving them the option, and the ones that want to go down that more digital path that they're calling it, that modern path, giving them those options, but then still understanding we need to motivate them to do that.
And I think too that department can still be the safety net.
Absolutely.
Right? Safety net to make sure that none of these opportunities are lost to the competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's stay on structure for a second, or that infrastructure. So technology.
Oh yeah.
So, obviously we have to deal with all kinds of different pieces of technology, but there's different platforms when it comes to the digital customer. So I'm a dealer, I'm engaged, I'm all in, I'm going down this path to solidify and help those types of customers, and I've chosen a platform. Does that mean I'm done?
No, absolutely not. And that's part of the problem, and a lot of the things that we're seeing that's wrong with how a lot of dealers are trying to approach this is they're signing up with a platform, they're using a tool, but then they're just using it as a selling tool. Yeah. They're trying to do it with their traditional model. So they're using it as a gimmick. right? It gets you in, and then forget all that stuff, just push them through the normal way. And now I understand a lot of the reluctance that dealers are having about going to this model because, hey, look, Carvana, how they're trying to sell cars with this, they're still the vast minority, right? Most customers are not ready to buy the vehicle 100% online.
Right.
And that's okay. We don't have to go 100% in with this. What we have to do is make sure that we're using the tools, and whatever we're promising the customer that they're going to get online is seamless, and that's the same experience they get in the showroom. And so we need to use those tools to do that. But you don't have to sell a car completely online like Carvana is doing.
Yeah.
It's just provide the tools and let the customer have more of a say. It's not give them all of the control. It's just more of a say in how they want to be sold.
Yeah. Let's continue this when it comes to customer experience. So I'm a dealer, I'm a manager, I've got the platform, I've got my people, I think I've got a good structure. The leads start to come in. I'm gathering, now I want to play, I'm a consumer.
Sure.
You've got my information, you've got my number, you've got my name, now what?
Sure. And let's face it, that's what an awful lot of dealerships are still using it for. They're just using it for lead generation.
Yeah.
They're using it as a way to get your name and number so I can reach out to you, get you on the phone, and just get you into the dealership. And now I completely understand wanting to get the customer in the dealership. That is the ultimate goal. But the whole idea with modern retailing or digital retailing, whatever we're wanting to call it now, is positioning how this is helping them when they get to the dealership. So instead of just getting here, how about, you know what, if you go ahead and put in your trade information online, it's going to save you 30 minutes when you get to the dealership, because we all know how much we hate sitting at the dealership for hours and hours.
Absolutely.
If you fill out a credit application online, it can save you 45 minutes when you get to the dealership.
Yeah.
So motivating them, we're still going to drive them to the dealership, but we can't use it just as a lead generation tool.
Yeah.
We need to use it as the customer's telling you how to sell them. And we need to use that and stop fighting against the customer and just get them to come along with us.
Yeah. And we've talked about so many times in even previous episodes outside of this specific topic, we're in an information world.
Yes.
We have to give the customer the information. So one of the things that we're seeing now is the customer has gone through this process, yet they show up, and then what?
Exactly.
They don't get the same answer they had online. So how do we start to look at that, Matt?
Right.
How do we start to look at that customer that was told one thing, but now they're being told another, and here we're going right
Here it
down
is,
that
and we're going
Groundhog
right down.
Day.
And it's funny because a lot of dealerships believe that when we're talking about digital retailing, we're talking about one price. Digital retailing is not about one price. Digital retail is about true price.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. Whatever we're presenting online, I need to be able to do when I come into the showroom. It doesn't mean you have to be a one price store, but it has to be a true price.
Yeah.
Stop doing the whole bait and switch thing. What I get, I show up, I should be able to do. Otherwise, it's all the gimmick, and that's why. Carvana's not selling cars cheaper than dealerships are. They're making more money.
Right.
People are paying that much more not to have to deal with that dealership experience.
Absolutely. So how, in closing, how do we motivate customers? You know, one, let's at least try to motivate me. I reached out to 7 dealerships recently, and I haven't heard from one, and it's been over a week now.
Well, I understand that with you, Barrett. I wouldn't reach out to you either.
But how do we, you know,
100%.
we have got to get them engaged with us if they've shown interest.
Sure, and understanding that purchasing a car is still, there's two aspects. There's the logical side of purchasing a car, and there's the emotional side of purchasing the car.
Yeah.
And a lot of these technologies are harping on the logical side, but we can't forget there's the emotional part of it. And so that's where BDC and where we still have to understand it's about motivating the customer to take the next step, but doing it in the way going with the customer, not fighting against them.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. That's what digital retailing really is.
And yeah, just staying engaged with them, keeping them moving along that pipeline, right?
Play into that emotion, right?
Yeah.
We know it's an emotional decision when that's what drives decision making is the emotional side. So we need to still play into that, not just the logical side.
Matt, once again, thanks for joining us today on PDS on the Rocks. So, hey, we're going to continue this exploration and feeding you with best practices when it comes to handling this type of a buyer, this modern buyer whatever we want to call this person today. But once again, this has been PDS on the Rocks. Please hit the subscribe button. Join, because we have a lot more coming soon. And hey,
You know what?
I think it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Matt.
It's
Don't you?
absolutely 5 o'clock somewhere.
All right, everybody have a good weekend.
Yes, absolutely.